Hey, welcome to this edition of Thrive. As always, I hope it finds you well and that life is good. You know, in the aftermath of the US elections, one of the things that stood out for me was the way in which people argued online. You know, there would be a news article that would be posted and there'd be views for and views against. And every time someone expressed something, those who held contrary views would weigh in. And you'd just find screeds and screeds and screeds of comment on everything that was posted. So I read through that, you know, I was reminded of something my grandfather drilled into me when I was a kid. He said, you're never going to get to where you're going if you stop and throw stones at every dog that barks. In other words, if you really want to get somewhere, you've got to block out the distractions and focus on where it is that you're going. You've got to focus on what's important. You know, one of the things that amazed me as I read through some of the comments, and you know, they became very predictable after a while. And there'd be this back and forth about what happened, what didn't happen, about what should have happened, about who should have won and who didn't win, and how the truth will come out. And yet at the end of the day, it's changed nothing. Those conversations, those debates with all the passion and all the heat in them have achieved nothing. All they've done is distract the people involved. It reminded me of what Solomon said in Proverbs 29:11. He said, fools vent their anger, but the wise quietly hold it back. In other words, just because you hold a view on something, just because you feel passionate about something, it doesn't mean that you have to share that in response to everybody who holds different views. It doesn't mean to say that you've got to engage with everybody who differs to the outlook that you have, or who doesn't agree with you. You see, not everything requires our response in life. Not everything requires that you and I engage with it. I think we've become conditioned through social media to respond to everything around us. I think social media has, over the years, conditioned us to engage with every comment, with every post, but not everything requires our response. What determines what I respond to and when I respond to it is my why, my sense of purpose in life, that thing that defines me, that thing that gets me out of bed in the morning, the thing that causes me to be passionate and that I'm focused on. That's what determines whether or not I respond to things. Because I don't want to lose momentum. I don't want to be distracted. I don't want to engage in senseless conversations about things that are not going to affect me, or that I have no control over, or that the other person has no real interest in debating. Another thing that's come to influence how I respond and when I respond has to do with what Jesus says in Matthew chapter 7, verse 6, when he says, don't throw your pearls before pigs. You see, I don't respond to things when I know that people aren't interested in genuine debate. It's not worth responding to some things because it doesn't invalidate my thoughts. It doesn't mean to say that, you know, I don't have something to contribute. But when I know that people aren't really interested in a discussion, they're just wanting to score points, they're just wanting to defend a position, they are so ideologically confined that they can't recognize, or they don't want to engage with anything outside of that, there's no point, because it's going to distract me from my why. It's going to take away my energy and my time and my focus from the things that I do have sway over, the things that I can influence, the things that I feel called to that will make a difference. You see, not every dog that barks understands why it's barking. And so to engage with it is fruitless. And I say all this simply because if you're going to achieve everything that you want to achieve, if you're going to maintain a sense of momentum, if you're going to thrive, you need to make sure that you don't throw stones at every dog that barks. You need to recognize not everything needs your response. You don't have to engage with every critic. You don't have to respond to every position that's contrary to yours. You don't have to just get waylaid by so much of what is out there. Just remain focused, remain engaged, be aware, but just make sure that you know where you're going, you know why, and let the dogs bark. Because trust me, they're going to bark whether you walk past or not. So don't stop, don't indulge them, carry on. Well, that's my advice. I hope it's helpful. Until next time, God bless.